On the far edge of known space, in a dark corner called Sector 9 Zeta, there floated a strange black rift. It was not just empty space, it pulsed, breathed, and shimmered with something that felt alive. It didn't appear on any star maps. It had no gravity, no pull, no heat, but it terrified every species that found it. They called it many names: the mouth of ending, the void gate, the hole that whispers. Ships that entered never came back. Some said they exploded. Others believed they simply vanished from time. A few ancient species warned that the hole wasn't a place, it was a test. And yet now, a single human ship stood just outside its reach. The ship was small, old, scarred from battles long forgotten. Its hull bore the name Rogue Ember. Inside it stood Captain Raylan Dorn, a man with a cold stare and a reputation for doing the things others wouldn't dare. He stared at the rift through the thick glass of his cockpit. Lights flickered across its surface, like stars being born and dying within it. Behind him, his AI companion spoke. "Captain Dorn, I advise immediate retreat. Rift anomaly displays no safe navigation path. All recorded encounters have ended in destruction, madness, or vanishing." "I know," Raylan muttered, cutting the AI off. He took a slow breath and let the silence fill the space around him. Then, without fear, he said for quiet words, "I want to enter." In the orbital station above, a dozen alien eyes widened. Cameras streamed Raylan's live feed. They had laughed when he requested permission to approach. Now no one was laughing. The laughter had turned to stunned silence. A tall insectoid ambassador leaned forward on his many legs, mandibles clicking nervously. "No species has ever returned after touching the rift," he said. A lizard-like traitor hissed, "Why do humans always want to die in strange ways?" A soft voice from a cloaked figure whispered, "Because they think death is optional." Raylan didn't care what they thought. He had faced death more than once. He had walked on planets where the air turned to acid. He had fought pirates on burning moons. This was different but not scarier. He didn't want glory. He wanted answers. Captain, the AI spoke again. "I detect rising radiation patterns, preceding further risks, damage to hull integrity, and navigation controls." Raylan tapped a small button, muting the AI for a moment. He opened a drawer and pulled out an old photo of his brother, laughing in front of Earth's oceans. Long dead. Now, lost during the Mars mining collapse, Raylan had never found the body, never found closure. Maybe this rift was where people went when they were never found. He returned the photo to its place and stood up. His legs were steady, his heartbeat slow. No fear in his eyes. He walked to the navigation console and manually entered a direct path into the rift. The ship beeped a warning. "Override confirmed," the AI said. "Are you certain, Captain?" He strapped himself into the pilot's chair. The safety harness clicked shut over his chest. "Engage autoblind," he ordered. "Captain." "Shut my eyes." The cockpit darkened. The external screens blinked off. No visuals. It's just blackness. Then he said it, calm and final. "Set course, full speed into the hole." The engines roared. Across the station, aliens held their breath. Some backed away from the monitors. Some bowed their heads. Others simply stared. The Rogue Ember tilted forward. Then it surged ahead. Into the black rift, to a place no one returned from, the last image anyone saw before the ship vanished into. The rift's edge, Sir Raylan's calm face. His eyes were closed. Asterisk, the ship pushed through the rift like a needle-piercing skin. There was no warning, no jolt, no resistance. One moment stars shimmered on the screen, the next blackness. Not darkness like space, but something thicker. A black that swallowed thoughts, swallowed sound. It felt like falling, yet nothing. Moved inside the cockpit, Captain Raylan Dorn sat stiff in his chair, eyes still shut. He'd disabled all visuals. The sensors blinked red error after error, but he didn't open his eyes. He didn't dare. The AI stuttered. Dot 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 dot. Coordinates, invalid. Gravity. Shifting, I am unable to define surroundings. Captain. Raylan's voice was quiet. Don't look. Don't think. Just move forward. The AI paused, processing his command, then obeyed. The ship advanced slowly into the heart of the rift. The walls weren't made of metal or energy, but of pressure and memory. Sounds echoed inside Raylan's helmet, his mother's laugh, his brother's last words, the silence of his worst mission. He felt something tug at his chest. It's not a hand, not a force, but a feeling, like his heart was being enmeshed. Then everything stopped. The ship came to a dead halt. No stars outside, no motion, no gravity. Raylan opened his eyes. The cockpit lights glowed low, struggling against the weight of the void. His hands felt numb. His breath fogged the visor of his helmet, though the ship was warm. Then he heard it, not through speakers. From the AI, but inside his own skull. A voice. Why did you come here, human? It was ancient. It had no accent. No tone-just presence, like the voice of the deep ocean. Like thunder in a graveyard. Raylan blinked, stunned. His mouth felt dry. I wanted to know what's inside. The silence returned, long, crushing. Then slowly things began to appear beyond the cockpit glass, shapes, moving things. Not ships. Not creatures. They were silhouettes. Each one different. Some long like eels of light. Others looked like broken statues drifting through fog. They circled the rogue ember, but didn't touch it. Raylan stood, eyes wide. These weren't hallucinations. His ship's internal sensors screamed in confusion. The AI returned online, whispering like it was afraid. Multiple unknowns, non-physical, no signs of aggression yet. Then a shape moved closer. Raylan's chest tightened. It stopped just. Outside the cockpit, it had no face. It's just a pattern of spiral glowing in purple and gold. The spiral pulsed slowly again. That voice rang out inside him. You brought fear with you and curiosity. Both are fire. Should the fire not be consumed? Raylan swallowed, because fire can light the dark. There was a pause. Then, the spiral pulsed faster. The cockpit lights flickered, and then everything changed. The ship was gone. The walls, the chair, the screens gone. Raylan stood barefoot on a smooth, glowing surface that stretched into forever. Above him there was no sky, just shifting colors like oil on water, like stars melting. His body looked the same, but it felt lighter. Something massive moved in the distance. A tower of glass? A beast made of time? He couldn't tell. His mind bent around its edges. It didn't belong in this reality. Then he saw them, others, dozens, maybe hundreds, standing like him in this impossible place, each one from a different species. Scaled warrior in heavy armor, a glowing orb with 6 limbs, a woman with skin like living flame.
Oh.
But they were all frozen in place, unmoving. Their eyes stared forward. It's empty. Raylan stepped closer to one of them, a gray-skinned alien with thin limbs and hollow cheeks. Its lips were parted like it had been screaming.
Ah!
A soft whisper came from its throat, endless looping. One word. Why? Raylan turned, heart racing. They weren't just trapped. They were stuck in their last thoughts, their last moments. Minds shattered by whatever test this place gave them. He looked up. The spiral symbol was above him again, now massive, floating like a god. You do not belong here, it whispered. Raylan stood straighter. No one does. The spiral pulsed, brighter now. Then why are you still standing? Raylan felt his knees tremble, but he stayed upright, because I haven't heard the answer yet. The light pulsed once more, and then the glowing floor. Beneath him cracks split outward, as if reality was tearing open beneath his feet and through the cracks. Something was rising, not an enemy, not yet, but something that remembered being human once, and had been waiting for someone to return. Raylan's voice caught in his throat. He was no longer in the hole was in him. Asterisk Captain Raylan. Dorn could no longer feel the ground beneath him. The cracks that had split through the glowing surface weren't just physical. They were mental, emotional, like the floor had reached into his memories and snapped open all the doors he'd locked shut. He was still standing, somehow. The voices of long-dead comrades echoed around him, their last cries during war, their laughter before silence. He saw their faces, those he'd failed, those who never came home. Each image hovered like ghostly light, then vanished before he could touch them. Something was watching him from beyond the cracks. No many things. Raylan turned slowly. The frozen forms of other beings were still scattered across the infinite glowing floor. Aliens from every corner of the galaxy, stuck in time, trapped in their final thoughts. One had fallen to its knees, fists clenched tight. Another looked, as if it were running endlessly, its eyes wide in terror. And then Raylan saw her. Human. A woman. She was kneeling, her hands clutching something invisible. Her hair floated gently around her shoulders, as if underwater. Her mouth was moving, whispering, over and over, "Don't let them take him." "Please, not my son." Raylan stepped toward her, heart pounding. "Hey," he said softly, "can you hear me?" No response. He reached out his fingers, brushed her shoulder. The moment he made contact, everything flashed. Suddenly he was standing in a burning colony. Fires raged. Sirens screamed. That woman held a small child in her arms, screaming at retreating ships above her. "You said you'd help us. You promised." Raylan backed away, confused. He wasn't in a memory, he was inside hers. The scene twisted around him like a dream. And then, in the sky, something massive appeared. Not a ship. Not a beast. Just a great black spiral that consumed the clouds. The woman turned to him, but this time her eyes met his. "Why didn't you come sooner?" she asked. Raylan gasped, the illusion shattered. He was back in the rift. The woman was gone. So were the others. The glowing floor cracked beneath his feet until it shattered like glass. He fell, but not downward. He fell inward. Everything collapsed. Color, sound, and silence. He landed on solid ground again. But this place was different. It was a room, not a natural one. It looked like it had been built long ago, by hands that understood the laws of the universe too well and chose to break them. The walls were shaped like waves. Symbols moved across them, alive, flowing like water. Strange glowing trees with no roots hung from the ceiling. The floor was warm, not metal, but something organic, like skin. Raylan stood slowly, checking his body. No injuries, still breathing. But his pulse was high. In the center of the room floated a small cube. It turned slowly in the air, humming like it was dreaming. Every time it rotated, the symbols on the walls shifted in response, like the room was reading his presence. He walked closer. The cube glowed brighter. Lines formed on its surface shapes. Images, Earth, Mars, the Sol system. Raylan stopped cold. The cube was showing him his home system. It was accurate. Every moon, every satellite, every station. Then red lines appeared. Warnings, crosshairs. Something had locked onto Earth. Raylan whispered, "What is this?" A voice answered, but not the same ancient whisper. This voice was female, soft, digital, yet deeply emotional. "This is the map of the forgotten," she said. "This is what the architects left behind." Raylan turned, trying to find the source. "Who are you?" "I am the Echo, the last mind of the builders," the voice replied. "I remain here bound to the rift. I protect the warning they died to leave behind." Raylan stepped forward. "What warning?" The cube rotated. Again at this time, showed a fleet. Not alien, not human. Something else. Black ships with red cores, each shaped like a spear. No names. No transponders. Just ... destruction. "They are coming," Echo whispered. "They cross dimensions. They eat stars. They erased the builders, and now they have seen Earth." Raylan's fists clenched. "Then tell me how to stop them." The cube pulsed once. "To stop them, you must pass the second door." A sudden, sharp pain sliced through Raylan's chest, not from a weapon, but from within. His vision blurred. He dropped to one knee. "You carry too much fear," Echo said. "And fear is what they smell." Raylan looked up, breathing hard. "Then take it. Take my fear." The cube flared bright white, and the room split open, revealing a swirling gate of fire. Blood red and endless. Echo's voice was calm now. "Enter, and you lose everything that protects you. Memory, pain, ego." Raylan rose to his feet. He walked to the fire and stepped into the second door without looking back. Asterisk. The fire didn't burn him. It devoured him. As Captain Raylan Dorn stepped through the second door, he expected pain, but instead, he felt his name leave him. His memories fell from his mind like feathers in a windless room. His past, the screams of dying soldiers, the laughter of his brother. The weight of all he had done peeled away piece by piece. He fell, but not like before. This fall was silent, weightless. He didn't know if he was upright or upside down. He no longer remembered the ship, the rift, or even his own face. He didn't know what a Raylan was. He only knew sensation, color, pressure. Whispers. Then the ground caught him. But it wasn't grounded. It was a surface made of moving. Sand and shifting whispers. It reacted to his breath, to the beat of whatever was left of his heart. He stood, or tried to. The space around him wasn't normal. The sky was black, but the stars moved like they were watching. Shapes drifted just out of reach. Some looked like machines. Others like memories wearing skin. Then a sound cracked through the strange. Calmed a scream. Not human, not alien. It was a scream made of rage and fear and hunger. He turned. Something was coming. Something. A shape ran across the dark sand. At first, it looked like a beast tall, long limbs, no face. Glowing veins of red light, but it wasn't running at him. It was running from something else. Raylan stepped aside as it passed. The thing didn't notice him. Its body was twitching. Pieces phasing in and out like it wasn't fully in one place. And then the hunter arrived. A creature of silence. It didn't walk or fly. It drifted like a shadow with a spine. Where it passed, the sand turned cold and still. Its head was a circle of black glass. Its body pulsed like it was made of breath. It paused where the beast had passed, then turned slowly toward Rain, no face. But Raylan knew it saw him. He stood still. Hands open, breath steady. The hunter moved closer, then stopped, and suddenly. It split, its body unfolded into a dozen pieces, each spinning around him slowly. A soft noise filled the space like metal weeping. A question appeared inside his mind, not in words, but in feeling. "What are you?" Raylan couldn't speak. He no longer had a name, but something inside him pushed forward. A spark, a truth. "Am the one who entered?" he whispered. The spears froze. Then they merged again, becoming the hunter once more. It circled him, then drifted away, leaving him alone. The sand beneath his feet began to shift. A new path opened, one made of dark. Stone and violet light, Raylan followed. He walked for what felt like hours or seconds. Time didn't work right here. The sky bent. His thoughts came out of order. But he kept walking. At last, he came to a gate. Unlike the second door, this one was solid, tall, ancient, covered in carvings. He touched it, and the stone breathed. Ah! Light exploded in his mind, and his memories crashed back into place like a tidal wave. His name, his brother, Earth, the rift, the mission. It all returned. But now, it was heavier. He fell to his knees, gasping. "Welcome back," Raylan Dorn said, the voice of Echo, echoing from the walls. "You have crossed the second threshold." Raylan looked up. "Why? I still here. I still here." "Because you have passed," Echo said. "You kept walking. You did not fight what could not be fought. You did not break what could not be understood." Raylan stood slowly. "I didn't do anything heroic," no, Echo replied. "You did something better." The gate opened, and beyond it, he saw the real heart of the rift. It was not a weapon, not a prison. It was a forge. A place where minds are melted. An REFORGED. At its center, floating in a vast sphere of energy, was a single item, a ship. Human-made, but twisted, enhanced. Its engines glowed with symbols that didn't exist in any known language. Its hull shimmered like it was alive. This vessel was built for the one who passes, Echo said. The rift remembers the builders, but it favors the brave. Raylan stepped forward, breath shallow. Is it mine? He asked. Only if you take it, Echo said. He placed a hand on the cold metal of the ship, and it opened like it was waiting as he climbed aboard. Something inside him lit up. The ship didn't have a control system. It responded to Will, his A. New path unfolded before him, a return path. But Raylan knew one thing for sure. He would not be the same man who entered the rift. And neither would Earth. When he returned, Raylan stood at the edge of something greater than understanding. The ship wasn't made by humans, not fully. Its bones were Terran steel-rusted, battle-worn. Real, but its skin shimmered with living patterns that responded to his breath. The cockpit opened not with hydraulics, but with a sigh like the ship had been asleep for centuries and now woke only for him. He stepped inside. The moment his boots touched the floor, the air changed. He felt it, like stepping into a memory that didn't belong to him. There were no switches, no screens owned, a chair surrounded by floating glyphs that moved when he looked at them. As he sat, they gathered around his hands, around his chest, and then gently settled into his skin. Not painful, not cold, just accepting. The ship pulsed once, then twice. A voice different from Echo echoed through the chamber, soft, layered with 1,000 whispers. Pilot recognized. Human origin. Courage index, maximum, memory, resilience, stable, motion threshold, passed, vessel awakening. Lights flared across the panels, engines stirred like breathing lungs, and suddenly Raylan knew everything. Not just how to fly the ship, but why it was built, why it was hidden, why only someone like him, a human, who walked blind through the rift, could claim it. He saw images flash through his mind, visions of ancient wars, of builders forging worlds from stars, of enemies that came from dimensions where time was bent like smoke. The rift was never just a hole. It was a boundary between survival and extinction. And the threat was moving again. Toward Earth, the images faded. Raylan sat still, hands gripping the edges of the chair, breathing hard. The AI interface inside the ship pulsed once. Command accepted, it said. Coordinates locked. One destination. Sol system. The ship didn't need a runway. It needed only a thought. The rift outside began to fold. Space twisted into bright strands like stretched glass. Colors bled into each other as the engine pushed light itself aside. Then silence broke. The ship vanished and reappeared near the edge of known space. In the dead zone between galaxies, Raylan blinked. It hadn't felt like moving. There was no jump, no burn, just arrival. Time elapsed. 17 seconds. The voice in the ship said. Raylan looked at the nearest star. 17 seconds to cross. What should take fleets weeks? He felt the pressure of responsibility pressed down on his shoulders. This wasn't just a gift. It was a weapon. And the kind of weapon the galaxy feared. He opened a comlink, patching into open channels. This is Captain Raylan Dorn of the Rogue Ember. He spoke slowly. To any Earth-lined frequency, I need urgent contact with Terran Command, Priority Alpha. I have information that cannot wait. There was static then. A voice crackled back. Raylan Dorn. Your ship was declared lost. You were inside the rift. That was 3 days ago. 3 days, he repeated. It felt like hours, maybe minutes. I need clearance to land on high orbit command. I have something to show them. Copy. That, the operator said nervously. You're coming in fast. Too fast. Raylan looked around. The ship was already aligning itself to Earth orbit. He hadn't told it to. It knew below. Earth spun gently. blue and green, beautiful, but in the distance he saw it, a black. Moving through space, silent, cold, wrong he didn't need sensors to understand. It was the same kind of ship he had seen in the Rift's memory. One of the star readers, Raylan, whispered, "They've already started." The ship pulsed again, scanning. A red glyph appeared before him. Hostile confirmed. Energy signature matches, Rift-encoded entities. Offensive capability. High, current target. Earth-based satellites. His hands trembled. He had a choice now. Run. Warn. Or, ship. He said slowly, "What are you capable of?" The lights brightened. Systems unrestricted. All protocols lifted. Firepower, planetary class. Defense, quantum shift armor. Time response, immediate. He leaned forward. "Then let's show the galaxy," he said, voice hardening. "What it means when a human walks through the rift and comes back?" The engines roared, silent but devastating. The ship surged forward toward the alien threat. The Star Eater turned, sensing him. But it was too late. Raylan's ship moved like no ship ever had. Time bent around it. Light cracked. Reality screamed. He didn't fire lasers. He fired impossibility. The alien ship twisted, tried to phase out, but Raylan's mind locked onto its hand. The rift-forged ship obeyed his will. One strike, one breath, and the Star Eater vanished, not destroyed, erased. Ran sat back, eyes wide. The AI spoke quietly. "First enemy down. More will come." Nodded slowly, heart steady. "I know," he whispered. He had come back from the hole, and now the real war was just beginning. Asterisk across the Earth's orbital defense grid. Silence spread like a virus. Every station, satellite, and command center stared at the black screen showing what had just happened. One moment, an unknown alien ship, massive, fast, and silent, had been detected. It was closing in on Earth's upper orbit. Every sensor screamed threat. Interceptors were too far. Earth's fleet wasn't ready, and then the unknown was. Gone, no wreckage, no explosion, just gone. And in its place, another ship floated in the darkness, sleek, alive, glowing with golden lines and moving parts that pulsed like a heartbeat. The ship didn't match any known design. It wasn't Terran. It wasn't alien. It was both and more. Inside that ship, Raylan Doran stared through the viewport, breathing slow and deep. The adrenaline was gone. Now came the cold truth. "I didn't just destroy it," he said aloud. "I unmade it." The AI's voice answered, "The rift-forged vessel doesn't use traditional weapons. It rewrites the enemy's presence, removes them from this layer of time." Raylan closed his eyes. "So I'm not flying a ship. I'm flying a warning." And Earth just saw it. He opened a secure channel. A dozen faces appeared across the display: generals, admirals, counselors. None of them spoke at first. They just looked at him like he'd risen from the dead. "Captain Dorn," the Admiral of Earth Command finally said, "We thought you were gone." "I was," Raylan replied calmly. "But I came back with something Earth didn't know it needed." Did you fire that weapon?" the Admiral asked carefully. Raylan leaned forward. "Yes, and I didn't push a button. I thought it... That's how this works now." Whispers moved behind the counselors. "And where did you get that vessel?" one of them asked. "It doesn't look like human tech." "It's not," Raylan said, "but it responds to us. Not because of our science, but because of our spirit. The builders left it in the rift, but they didn't lock it. They made it so only someone reckless, foolish, or brave enough would find it." A long silence. Raylan spoke again. "You need to understand this wasn't a one-time attack. That ship I erased was a scout. More are coming. I've seen them in the rift, across dimensions. They don't come to conquer, they come to erase. They want Earth to never have existed." A counselor shook her head. "That sounds like fear-mongering." Raylan narrowed his eyes. "It's worse than fear. These things consume potential. Every version of Earth that might have been, they'd wipe it out. Not just our present, our past, our future. The Admiral looked to the others. Then back at Raylan. We need you to come to the surface. Debrief. Let us study the vessel.
Ow.
Raylan's hands tensed on the armrests. No, he said firmly. The room on their end froze. No, the Admiral asked. Captain, this isn't a request. You think this is a weapon to use? Raylan interrupted. You don't understand it, you didn't earn it. The ship doesn't respond to orders. It responds to need. Who failed the test in the rift? They wanted power. They died screaming. He stood from the chair. Behind him, the ship pulsed once, sensing his tension. You want to debrief me? Fine. But this ship stays with me. It's not a machine, it's a living key. And if you try to take it, it will end you. The AI chimed in softly. Another rift breach detected. Raylan snapped around. Where? The display showed deep. Space far from Earth's orbit. A rift-like spiral had appeared. This time, more than one signature came through. 5 ships, all shaped like the one he'd erased, only bigger. The screen pulsed red, dimensional breach expanding. Stalls. Approaching speed thresholds impossible to intercept. One of the counselors gasped. They're coming straight for Earth. No, Raylan corrected. They're not here for Earth's cities. They're here for me. Everyone stared at him. Raylan clenched his fists. They know I touched the forge, that I used what they tried to bury. The moment I erased that scout, lit a flare they could all see. The Admiral's face turned grim. Then what do we do? Raylan turned, walked to the center of the ship. A circular platform opened, glyphs spun around it. He stepped in. I'm going to stop them, he said, but not with your permission. With my choice. Captain, the Admiral began. But the signal cut. Raylan's ship rose, rotated, pointed toward the growing dimensional breach. The ship's systems aligned instantly, no delay. No calculations, just intent. His voice was calm. Let's show them what it means when a human takes their fear, he whispered, and makes it a weapon. The ship exploded forward into the spiral and vanished into the dark. Behind him, Earth watched, and in the rift beyond, the enemy finally turned its full attention. To humanity, the rift opened like a wound. Raylan's ship tore through it faster than light, faster than thought, entering a realm not made for flesh or steel. Behind him, Earth vanished into the distance, but ahead loomed the real war. He was no longer chasing shadows. He was flying directly into the mouth of extinction. 5 enemy ships drifted in formation. They didn't communicate. They didn't posture. They were silent, black as death, shaped like jagged spears, each longer than a city, glowing with red energy that pulsed like heartbeats in reverse. But Raylan wasn't afraid. He was the only being to pass through the rift and return. With a ship forged by a race older than Starza, vessel that fed on courage and defied the laws of physics, the enemy detected him. They didn't hesitate. 3 broke formation and launched forward, 1 from above, 1 from the flank, 1 straight ahead. Each moved faster than light should allow. Raylan's ship shimmered and time bent. He didn't move a joystick, he thought, and the ship moved. It flickered from place to place, skipping across space like a stone over water. Rays of dark energy passed through where he had been milliseconds ago. The rift around them rippled like a storm of memory and fire. The ship whispered, "Offense initiated." Raylan didn't fire missiles. He opened his mind, and the ship responded. It unleashed conceptual weapons ideas given force. Things that erased mass, reversed cause, made light fall upward. The enemy ships recoiled as parts of them vanished, not exploded, but forgotten by reality. But these were not scouts. They adapted. The first enemy lashed out with an anti-gravity pulse that tore through layers of space. The second split into multiple forms, weaving through time with mathematical precision. Third charged straight at Raylan, forcing his ship to retreat not out of fear, but to protect what was behind him, Earth, RAY, L-A, and single quotes, his hands gripped the glowing controls. No, he growled. This ends here. The ship's core pulsed brighter than before. Final protocol available, the voice said. Rift triggered, one-time use. Vessel will not survive. Raylan stared at the countdown forming in his vision. He had a choice. Escape or sacrifice. He smiled. Show me what they're afraid of. He activated it. All around him, the rift lit up veins of silver and fire webbing through the black void. The enemy ships paused. They felt it. Not fear, not pain, judgment. The forged ship flared with impossible energy, becoming brighter than a sun, hotter than understanding, louder than time. Raylan could see everything now. Every enemy ship, every possible future they destroyed, every Earth they were about to erase. And then he reached across those threads and burned their access out of existence. One pulse, one flare, one man's will, and the rift collapsed inward. When Earth stations reconnected to deep space sensors an hour later, there was nothing left in the breach. No enemy, no forged ship, no Raylan Dorner. At first, the world mourned. They named schools after him, fleets, statues were built in orbit. Raylan Dorn, the man who flew into the impossible and saved Earth with nothing but nerve and a ship no one understood. But the story didn't end there. 1 month later, a scout probe near Saturn picked up an anomaly. A ripple in space, a signal, one word. Remember. Then gone. And somewhere beyond galaxies past logic and limits, Raylan floated in a dimension built not from matter but meaning. The forged ship around him now shaped by his thoughts, his pain, his hope. He had become something else. Not just a pilot, not just a human, but a message. A reminder to the stars that some holes are forbidden to others, but not to us, because where others see danger, humans dive in, eyes closed. Everything.